12 discussed in AC. So we are in chapter 5, which is organizing. Okay, this is one of the managerial functions. Already we have discussed one managerial function in detail, which is planning. Okay, planning is considered to be one of the most important and basic managerial functions. When you talk about organizing, we tell that as soon as we complete planning, we will go to the next step, which is called as organizing. Right, children? That is, implementing your plans is called as organizing. So how is organizing defined? Organizing is defined as implementation of your plans. By how? By clarifying the jobs and the working relationships. By doing this and implementing your plan, it is called as organizing. So for what are the various things that we have discussed? We have discussed the definition, we have discussed the process, and we have discussed the importance of organizing. Of course, in the previous class, we have discussed about the organizational structure, and that is a format, a hierarchy in which everything flows for a smooth flow of organization. So in that, we discussed about two different organizational structures. One is called as the divisional organization structure. Another one is called the functional organization structure. Talking about functional organization structure, what is that we have discussed? Various functions of a management will be given different departments. That is, production is a function of an organization that is given as a separate department. Then staffing, that is given as a department. Then finance, sales, all these separate individual functions are given as a or presented as a separate department, and they have subordinates. Okay, that is the functional structure. We discussed various pros and cons of functional structure. What are those? Like job specialization. In functional structure, people will be able to specialize in their particular job. If I am very good in financing, tax calculation, all those things, I can improve myself and I can mold myself in that particular department. Why? Because I am working only in that department. I am concerned only with the financing department and nothing else. That is all about functional structure. But still we had a demerit that it leads to conflict. Okay, in the same organization, when different departments are there, then it will lead to conflict. That is, production was good, sales was not good. Okay, financial department did not support us properly. Research and development did not complete their work properly. Like this, internal conflicts may arise. That is what we discussed as a point in organizational structure. Which organizational structure? Functional organizational structure. Then we came for divisional organization structure. When do we have divisional organization structure? When we expand the business. Alright, when we expand the business, we will get into this divisional organization structure. That is, when you are dealing with more than one line of products. Okay, when you are going to have a new division, new product line, then we will go into this divisional structure. According to a divisional structure, each product line is given different divisions. Okay, under that particular division, there will be a divisional head, and under the divisional head there will be the functional structure. So divisional structure is a structure that comprises of both division plus functional structure also will be there, because under every division you will have production, you will have sales, you will have financing and everything. Again, in the next division also you will have all these functions. So what was the biggest demerit there? The demerit was duplication of work. That is, they are also financing that. In cosmetics line also they have to maintain accounts. In vehicle section also they have to maintain accounts. For every product they have to maintain accounts. Simply they have to maintain so much of accounts. Not only accounts, I am talking about all the work that will be duplicated. Meeting is for this one time meeting, for that one time meeting. Marketing plan for cosmetic lines they have to think differently, whereas vehicle section they have to think differently. So there might be conflicts. What kind of conflicts will arise there? You will have the conflicts like financing the proposition. Like you have to give the money for same kind of work repeatedly. Okay, for training and development means for that division separate training, this division separate training, same training only, but again you are going to pay again. Why? Because they are from different divisions. But what are the merits? It will be very helpful in a very huge organization. It helps in expansion and growth. How does it help in expansion and growth? Because as an MD, I can just organize a new division, give it to a divisional head. Happily, I can think about my next division. Okay, that divisional head is accountable to me. He or she is responsible for all the goods and bads happening in that particular division. Alright, that is how we deal with a divisional structure. So both these structures, they have their pros and cons. When we talked about suitability, functional structure is suitable when we have only one line of product. Alright, but whereas divisional structure is suitable for organizations which has multi-products. Alright children, fine. Now what were the terms, did you just notice what were the terms that I used? Authority. Like I have to be accountable, I have to be responsible. We say that divisional head is authority. We said that when we spoke about the functional and divisional structures. Talking about these three terms, what are those three terms? They are authority, responsibility, and accountability. These were the three different terms. Alright children, now when we talk about it, is there any relationship between these three terms? How can you connect these three terms? Is there a common thing that connects these three terms? Yes, there is a common term that connects these three things, which is called as delegation. What is it? Delegation. In delegation only we discuss about authority, responsibility and accountability. Before going into these things, first we need to know what is delegation. Okay, we need to know what is a delegation. Then only we can discuss about authority, responsibility and accountability. Delegation means it is the downward transfer of authority. What do you do with the authority that the manager has? I am a manager. Okay, what do? I want some work to be done. Okay, I want the employees, I want to explain the new plan or new objectives to my employees, to my subordinates. So if I am going to just do it for each and every person, I cannot concentrate on my next work. So what do? I'll first explain it to the assistant manager, my assistant. He or she is going to understand it. And then I'll give the authority to that person to explain the same plan to the further employees, to other subordinates. Do you get my point, children? What is it? First, I explain the plan and the objectives to my assistant, who is called the assistant manager. What do I do with my authority? I pass the authority to my assistant manager. For what? For giving the same training or explaining the same plan and objectives to other subordinates. Why can't I do it myself? Why can't the manager do it himself or herself? Because I have other works to do also. There are more prior activities that I have to take care of. Okay, so it's again duplication of work is avoided here. I'm going to explain the same plan to my assistant manager. I'm going to explain the same plan to the circulation department. I'm going to explain the same plan to the clerk. Right? I'm going to explain the same thing. Why should I do it again and again? Let me call a meeting and explain. Will it work out? No, it won't work out in every case because the responsibility of an assistant manager is entirely different from the responsibility of a clerk. So, for an assistant manager, I have to explain it detailedly and in terms where he or she is concerned. To a clerk, when I explain, I have to make sure that the clerk reaches it. That the clerk's role is explained because clarity of work should be given. clarity of working relationships should be given. So how am I going to do that? 2 different times only I have to do. So instead of doing 2 different times, what do? I train my assistant manager to train the other employees. So what do? What do I delegate? My authority I transfer. And how it is transferring? That is a downward transfer. Downward transfer means from a superior to a subordinate. To whom it is transferred? I said downward transfer of authority. To whom or from whom it is transferred? From a superior to a subordinate. It is downward transfer, right? Do you remember unity of command and unity of direction that you have studied in chapter 2 Principles of Management? In that one question was there, in which way or in which direction is the authority and responsibility travels? The answer to that question you will get it easily when we discuss this topic. So authority travels downward from a superior to a subordinate. Because I can command that person only. I can give directions to that person only, to my subordinate. Okay? That person only I will be able to give my reactions and all the commands. So what were we discussing, children? We were discussing about how authority travels. It travels downward, okay, from a superior to a subordinate. For what we do this delegation? Why should we give this responsibility, or why should we pass this authority to the next person? Because the higher authority can look into more prior activities for the effective functioning of the management. Helps in what? Helps in the effective functioning of the management. Because the manager can use his or her time more possibly and more positively in an area where his or her attention is required. This might be a simple task. I am not going to, as a manager, I am not going to allot a very big work to my subordinate. As a superior, as a manager, I will know my subordinate's capacity. How much will he or she be able to do it? Based on that only I am going to give. Okay, whatever he or she is going to handle, that only I am going to give. Why? Because finally I am only accountable for the work. So I know very clearly of what work he or she is capable. So there won't be a problem, and I can give my time for more important activities. Okay, that is what is very, very important. And how does a subordinate take it? How will it make you? So you just imagine you are in the classroom, and as a teacher I have given you some work. Okay, I have told that children, till I come back, you just mind the class. How will you feel? You will feel like you are the class teacher. You will feel like you are the person who is going to control everybody. At the 5 minutes till the 5 minutes that I come back, you will feel like, okay, the class is under my control. That's how a subordinate will feel. The self-satisfaction and the authoritative feeling is so good. Alright, and that person will be able to, put in new ideas, exercise some new initiative. When I tell you, you have to arrange your classrooms in a nice way, each one of you give your ideas. Instead of needling, you keep your books there, you keep your notes there. Instead of needling, when I give you that authority, that you only should decide. You are responsible for the maintenance of the board. You are responsible for the neat arrangement of the books. So what you will do, you will create new ideas. You may paste some stickers there that this is English, no, this is Maths, no, this is Business Studies. So you will bring your own creative ideas into that picture, no? That is how a subordinate will feel. So when the authority is passed to him, when the subordinate is delegated with some work by the superior, he or she will be very happy, and they will be able to develop themselves and bring forward their ideas. Okay, that's what will happen when you are delegating a work. And one more thing that helps a manager is that he or she will be present there. Because of my manager only I am doing this. When I am passing you an information like children go to this particular teacher and inform that this particular work should be done, or simply in primary we just say that go tell that particular class to keep quiet or be there till the teacher comes. What do? You will go and behave like you are the teacher and you will be like, okay, keep quiet, my teacher has told. My work, I only assigned you the work, I delegated you that work. But when you do that, when someone comes and asks why are you standing there, you will say that, sir, Kavya ma'am only told me to stand here. So my operation, my work is done there through you. That's how a superior will react. A superior's work, a manager's work is done through the subordinate. Okay, that is what is very, very important in delegation of work. That doesn't mean that, okay, fine, I have given you that work, it's entirely yours. I am not going to do anything related to it. Can I just, leave off the matter like that? No, I cannot do that. Because as a manager, I am responsible, I am accountable for the work. Okay? Simple work. Let's take a simple work. Your father or your mother has assigned you a small work that you have to send a courier. Okay? You have to post a letter or you have to send a courier to someone. That work is assigned to you. What do? You think that, okay, I have some more important work. My friend is going out. I am delegating the work to that particular person. That only is delegation. Nothing but that only is delegation. You are just telling that you please go and do it. In superior subordinate relationship, it will be an order. You do it. Okay, to a friend you will ask as an help. But still that is a delegation. I am telling you for an example of what is accountability. So that friend is responsible now. You have passed the authority. That friend is becoming responsible for sending that particular courier. But if the courier is not sent, to whom will your father or mother put the question to? Will they go and ask your friend or will they ask you? They will ask you because they have handed over the work to you. So hence you are accountable. You are accountable to your parents whether the courier is sent or not. Same way only, even though a superior hands over the work to his subordinate, he passes over that authority to his subordinate and the subordinate is now responsible for the particular work. Okay, but who is answerable? The manager, the superior is accountable because it is given to the superior. The superior's work is to see that whether the work is done or not. Clear? For example, let's say the financial manager says his assistant manager, you have to pass a file, a very important file to the auditor. Okay? So the authority is with the financial manager. Okay? And what is the work there? Passing the file to the auditor. That work is given to the subordinate. To whom you give? To the assistant financial manager it is given. It is a downward. Okay? Downward thing. And who is responsible now? This assistant financial manager is responsible for passing that file. Okay? The MD comes in the evening and asks, has the file been passed to the auditor? Who is accountable there? The financial manager is accountable there. After delegating the work also, the accountability stays with this authority. The assistant financial manager is accountable to the financial manager. But the main accountability of that particular work stays with the superior. He or she cannot leave the issue and say that no, I have given the matter to that next subordinate, so it is not in my hands. That cannot be said. Alright children, you have to make sure that that particular work is done. That is why superior subordinate relationship should be of very much clarity. Working relationship should be clearly said. And delegation should be properly done. It's not a simple thing, okay, you go and do that work, you go and do that work. It's not that simple. It has to be organized properly. It should be given, the details should be given properly. Right, the commands should be given properly, the direction should be given properly. Only when the organization is said to be a good organization. Alright children, so next what we are going to do? We are going to talk about a definition given by Louis Allen. L-O-U from a superior to a subordinate. For what? For the effective functioning of the management. It helps the subordinate to have self-confidence and to implement his or her new initiatives inside the office. Okay? But still, does that mean that the superior can get rid of the work? No. Still, that person is accountable for that particular work. Okay? Next, what are we going to discuss? We are going to discuss about the elements of the delegation. Before that, we are going to discuss about the definition given by Lee Allen. What has he said? He has said that delegation is the entrustment of the responsibility and authority. Okay, what is it? We'll break down. As usual, we'll break down. Entrustment. Entrustment was trusting and giving it. That is entrustment. Trusting that you will do that work is entrustment. Entrustment of what? Authority and responsibility. When the financial manager gives you the authority to pass the file, it becomes your responsibility also. So authority and responsibility, whenever you get authority, you become responsible already. Okay, I have authority to ask you whether you have completed your work or not. At the same time, I will get the responsibility for what? For making you to complete the work. Okay, so as I receive authority, I immediately become responsible. Right, children? Until otherwise, till the point that I am given the authority to check or to make you do it, I am not responsible. But only when I have the authority, I can do it. As a class teacher only will have the authority, right? They have the authority and immediately they become responsible for the children. Same way only happens in all bigger scenarios. Why am I saying examples from your classroom? Because it will be easy for you to connect, but you should not stop connecting it there. Kindly connect it with the bigger scenario of a businessman or a woman or a manager. Okay, children. So entrustment of what? Authority and responsibility both has to be given. Authority without responsibility is also waste. Responsibility without authority is also useless. It should go together. And the creation of accountability for performance. What do you do then? You have to create the accountability. That is, you are responsible for the work means you only should answer. If something happens to the work, you should answer it. Creation of accountability of performance. Alright, so what is it? Delegation is the entrustment of authority and responsibility and the creation of accountability of performance. So what are the three important terms we have got here? It is the entrustment of authority and responsibility and creation of accountability. Hence, the elements of delegation are authority, responsibility, accountability. Elements means what? Delegation means these three things should be there. What three things? Authority should be there, responsibility should be there, and accountability should be there. Alright children, now what are we going to do? We are going to discuss them in detail. We are going to discuss what is authority, what is responsibility and what is accountability. First let us talk about authority. What is an authority? What is an authority? I am an authorized person to do this, we say. What is that? Authority means the right of an individual to do something is called an authority. What? It is a right of an individual to complete a work or to give orders to their subordinates, to command the subordinates. Okay? And to take action within the scope of that limit. So authority means what? Right to command. Right to command their subordinates. So if I have an authority, I can command my subordinates. Not only commanding, I have to give direction also. Okay, how a work should be done. Who will do that? The person who has the authority should do that. Okay, and then subordinate is not working properly, I feel that this particular person is not, true to the organization. I feel that person is not loyal to the organization. So what can I do? I can take the matter to the HR department, or I can elevate it to the higher authorities. I can talk to my MD about it. I can say that I can launch a complaint that this particular person is not trustworthy. So I will not give this particular person work, or I don't want this particular person to work in my particular department. What is my limit? I cannot go and fire him. That is, I cannot go and dismiss him from his job. That authority I don't have. That authority lies with my MD. So I have to exercise my authority properly. That is within the limits that is given. Within that only I can make an action. Okay, just because I am a manager, you are my subordinate, I cannot make you to do my own personal work. Is it good? No, it's not. Okay, my authority applies only for the official work, not for unofficial personal work. Alright, those are the things. Why this has to be clarified? Because then only a superior as well as a subordinate will know what is what. Clear, children? These are the various things about authority. In authority, we have discussed about scalar chain, right? Do you remember the triangle thing? Based on the hierarchy, we will discuss the authoritative people, same authority people and all those things. It also refers to take the right decisions in managerial problems. With the managerial position, I have to take decisions within my department. Means I need the authority. I want to purchase a new thing. I want to purchase raw materials. Means only if I have the authority to do that, I can do that. Otherwise what? I cannot go for it. I cannot enter into that thing. I have to ask the people who are authoritative for that. But as a purchase manager, I have the authority to buy things. Alright? So authority means what? You have to know what is your right. And it is the right to command your subordinates and to take action within your particular scope, okay, within your limits, and then it talks about taking the right decisions, okay, with the managerial things, related managerial points. That is all about authority. In the formal organization, we skipped the formal and informal organization because it's like it was deleted portion, so we skipped formal and informal. I hope you have gone through it, just a gist at least you should have gone through about it. So in a formal organization, the individual's position determines the extent of authority. The position, manager means this much authority, assistant manager that much authority, clerk means what is authority. Based on that, it will be defined in a formal organization. And one more thing is that the authority is restricted by laws and rules, because nobody should go out of restricted by various laws and rules. For every organization we have laws and rules. Same thing only for authority also. We have laws and rules. That is, nobody should misuse their authority. Okay, we have seen cases like where the senior officer has, abused the juniors. Whatever kind of abuse, physical abuse, verbal abuse. All these abuses are not good, because that is not in your authority. Nobody has a right to affect anybody. Nobody has the authority to verbally abuse another person. Alright children, like that it is restricted by laws. That is all about authority. Talking about the next element of delegation, which is called the responsibility. How does it travel? It travels upward. Okay, it travels upward, it flows upwards. Authority travels how? Flows downwards. From a superior to a subordinate, whereas responsibility flows upwards, that is from a subordinate to a superior. That is, I am responsible. I have to I am answerable to my superior. Okay, flows upwards. And what is responsibility? It is basically an obligation. Okay, understand, children, how does it work? Now here we have MD, managing director. Here we have the general manager. Okay? If the relationship flows like this, then it is called authority. Okay, superior, subordinate. If it goes like this is called responsibility. Alright? Of a subordinate to a superior. That is, when a work is delegated to me, I have to be responsible for that particular work. Okay? The courier sending work was delegated to you, so you are responsible. You should make sure that it is sent, or you should take care that the package is not damaged and all those stuff. So you become responsible for that. Right, children? That is how it works. It flows upwards. How does it flow? Upwards. So the question that we asked in online test 2, in which direction the authority flows and responsibility flows? The answer is authority flows downwards from a superior to a subordinate, whereas responsibility flows upwards from a subordinate to a superior. Clear, children? At that time you might not have understood that because many of you have given wrong answers, but now you would have understood this, I believe. Alright, what is the next thing we are going to talk about? We are going to talk about accountability. What are we going to talk about? Accountability. That is, once authority is delegated and responsibility is also accepted, you cannot deny accountability. That is, being answerable or being responsible for the pros and cons. Okay, now here we will take for this example, managing director is a superior, general manager is a subordinate. He has said the managing director has given authority for the general manager for recruiting new people, new staff for the organization. Now the general manager becomes responsible for that particular work. Does that mean that the managing director is not accountable for having the right staff? No, the final decision rests with the managing director, the person who gave the authority. So accountability is also an important work of delegation. Whom you are delegating the work, still the accountability rests with you. Okay, accountability rests with you. Okay, we'll understand it very easily with the help of this particular tabular column. Okay, we'll go and put that. What are the three elements of delegation, children? Authority, responsibility, and accountability. First, what is the meaning of authority, responsibility, and accountability? We say. What is authority? It is the right to command. Right to command. What is responsibility? It is the obligation, okay, to perform an assigned task. Obligation to perform a work. What is accountability? Answerability. Okay, you are being answerable, right? That is called as accountability. That is, if a work is not done properly, they will not ask the subordinate, they will ask the superior who assigned the work. That is the meaning. What is the second point that we are going to discuss? We are going to discuss about delegation. How you can delegate. That is giving to the next person, entrusting it. Authority can be delegated. Responsibility. Do you think responsibility can be delegated? Cannot be entirely delegated. You can share your responsibility, but you cannot give it entirely. How about accountability? Not at all possible. Can never be delegated. You are answerable means you are only answerable. You cannot show the next person that person only is answerable. I am not answerable. You can never say. Accountability stays with the person who gives the authority. Okay? Then origin, from where it starts, where we can find this authority? In formal organization. And then next one, from formal position. From my position, what position do I hold based on that? Then from whom the authority is delegated, to that person only I am responsible. So from delegated authority. Accountability, from where it starts, arises from responsibility. I am responsible, that is why I am accountable. Okay? What is the last point? Flow. We already discussed. Authority flows downward from superior to subordinate. It flows upward from subordinate to superior. Accountability flows upward. Okay, if you have responsibility, you have accountability also. Okay, why we say that this authoritative person, the manager is always, or the managing director is responsible to someone else is responsible, right? So he has the accountability. Alright, understood about the elements of delegation. So what are the three elements of delegation? We discussed authority, responsibility and accountability. What is delegation? Delegation is the entrustment of authority and responsibility and creation of accountability. Okay, it is not giving it. Accountability is not giving to someone. Whereas authority and responsibility can be deleted. Accountability, how? It should be created from myself. I should feel that I am responsible, so I am answerable. My work, I have been given the authority to complete this lesson, so that becomes my responsibility. Okay, that becomes my responsibility to complete this particular lesson. So I am answerable that whether this lesson is completed or not, if it is understood by the children or not. I am answerable. So accountability comes from me. Okay, it originates from where? From the responsibility only it originates. I am responsible, I feel responsible, so it originates from me. Creation of accountability for performing a task. Okay, that is what we discussed about delegation. Next, we are going to discuss about importance of delegation. Okay, one important point that it is authority is delegated, responsibility is assured. That is, it is promised. Assured means what? Promise. Accountability is imposed. That is, this. It happens. It is forced on you. It is imposed. There is no particular thing like I am, what to say, as I get responsibility, I become accountable. Clear, children? Authority is delegated, responsibility is assured, and accountability is imposed. What is the next thing that we are going to discuss? We are going to discuss about the importance of delegation. Why do you think that delegation is important? And do you think, first of all, that delegation is important in a proper organization? In any organization, let's talk about any organizational structure. Let it be formal, let it be informal, let it be a divisional structure, let it be a functional structure. We still think that delegation is important. We should know, right? Why is it important? From the definition and from the various elements, we will figure out some points that explains the importance of delegation. Okay. First point is that effective management. What is the first point? Why do you think delegation is important? Because it leads in effective management. How does it lead in effective management? How do you think it helps in effective management? Because it gives the freedom to the subordinates in doing what they think is right. Because when authority is given, given to the subordinates, what do? They become responsible. They all feel the part in the organization, so they all are interested to put in their own initiatives to each and every work. Then the organization becomes good, then the management also becomes good. They all work efficiently. When the authority is passed from the manager to the next level person, next subordinate, the manager gets free time to look into the next work. Okay, so that even is an effective management. Right? Thus, delegation helps in effective management. What is the next point? Employee development. Let it be the manager, or let it be the subordinate, or our employees only. How it helps? Brings leadership qualities, and the employees, the subordinates can develop their skills. When they have the freedom to try, when they have the freedom to install their own ideas into the organization, they will think more carefully. Okay, when your mom is cooking, you just go in, you don't have any interest in it, just walk and come out. Even if it is going wrong, something is going wrong, you will not mind about it. But in case one fine day your mother says like today is a special day, or when on your mother's birthday you feel like okay, I am going to make something special for my mother, what do? You take extra care. Right, you take extra care, you learn it properly, you will, do it effectively, do it properly. Same way only, when the authority is given to a subordinate, the subordinate will want to do the work properly and get good name. Because he is accountable, along with the responsibility, accountability has come. So that person becomes responsible and they will develop themselves in that particular work or whatever work they are doing. They'll perform more efficiently, they will try to develop themselves, increase their skills, okay, bring in their initiatives and all those things. That is how we say that employee development is helpful. That only is important in delegation. Next thing is motivation of employees. It motivates the employees because I get the authority. With the authority, responsibility and accountability comes easy. How does it motivate the employee? Because I am going to the next level. I feel like my manager is believing in me. Okay? My manager has believed in me and given this work. That motivates the employee to work more well. To make sure that okay, when a work is given, delegated to the subordinate, the manager will be saying like, I know you will be able to do it well. The manager says. So how does the employee feel? As an employee, I would feel, if I am the subordinate, I would feel, wow, my manager trusts me. He or she believes in me that I can do it. At least to keep up the name, what I have to do? I have to do this work properly. So I get internally motivated, learn the work and I develop myself. Plus I do my work. I am completely involved into that particular work, which helps in effective management also. It is all again interrelated. Okay children, the next thing is facilitation of growth. What is the next thing? Facilitation of growth. How does it facilitate growth with you? Because when the authoritative people, the head people, the divisional heads and all those people, they have so many things to do. When they are able to delegate their work properly to the next subordinate, they have the time to spend for more new projects and new works. They can expand. Even in divisional structure we discussed, when a managing director starts a division and gives the responsibility, delegates the responsibility or gives the work to the particular divisional head, he or she becomes happy and they can concentrate in the next work we discussed. Right, same thing happens with the superior subordinate also. They also what do? They will just change it. They will feel like, okay, my work is being given, I think that person or I hope that person will do it correctly. The subordinate is also working properly. What the manager can do? He or she can concentrate in the next work, in a more important work. Then trying to expand, trying to bring in some new ideas. So it helps in growth. Facilitation to growth. What is the next point? It is the basis of hierarchy. Hierarchy means what? Your order. Basis of because it is all about authority, responsibility and accountability, and it gives a clear status of the superior subordinate relationship. That's how it improves hierarchy and it serves to be the basis of hierarchy. Okay, when I delegate my work to the next person, subordinate, he immediately comes next to me in the hierarchy. Alright, that person also is responsible to me. That's how an hierarchy is formed. When a chairman, okay, delegates a work to the secretary. The secretary delegates the work to the managing director. The managing director delegates work to various managers. I have got my hierarchy now. I have got my working order. How did I get it? Just on the basis of to whom work is delegated and from whom it is delegated. Based on that I formed my hierarchy. That's it. So that's why we say that delegation helps in hierarchy. It serves as a basis of hierarchy. Alright children. What is the next point? Better coordination. How do you think it helps in better coordination? Because when I know that my manager or my superior believes in me, trusts in me, I become responsible and I start respecting him out of my whole heart. So that brings a good coordination. Okay? Because you both know what is the work to be done. Superior also knows, the subordinate also knows, authority is given, responsibility is there, accountability is there. So I know what is going on and how it is going on. I give my directions when my subordinate needs it. It helps in coordination. Organization is all about coordination, right? One important management essence itself is coordination. So when delegation helps us in forming a better coordination, of course we feel that delegation is very, very important for us. That is why we say that delegation is a key element in the management, in an effective management and an effective organizing. Alright children, so what are the various points that we have discussed about importance of delegation? We discussed that it helps in effective management, it helps in employee development, employees' personal development, technical development, the professional development, then motivation of employees. Since the authority is delegated, entrustment of authority and responsibility is done, the employees get motivated and they work more effectively, which will lead to effective management. Then facilitation of growth. As I have delegated my authority to the next subordinate, I am able to look into the next work. So I can expand the progress. Alright, next basis of hierarchy. The delegation process only will form the hierarchical structure itself. Then better coordinations. Because of the authority, responsibility, accountability, answerability, I am able to form a better coordination in all the superior subordinate relationship. Because the clarity of jobs is there, clarity of working relationship is there. Delegation lets me to do this properly. It lets me to give the authority properly, responsibility properly, and to give the answerability, accountability also to properly. That is why it is helpful. In what? In better coordination. And because of these reasons only, we say that delegation is a key element in effective organizing. Alright? So, authority flows downwards, responsibility flows upwards, accountability also flows upwards. Alright children? So, only one more topic is left out in this particular chapter, which is decentralization. It is also a very interesting topic. After discussing decentralization, we will have a comparison between decentralization and delegation. Alright children, so if you have any doubts, please feel free to reach me out. Watch the video repeatedly if you are not able to understand. Answer the worksheets clearly, understand the question and then answer the worksheet. Clear children? Thank you and may all have a wonderful day.